memories, more memories, more memories. Oh, more memories.
I took my ring off, and I took my ring off. You can actually see a little indent last night, and I don't know when I'm gonna put it back on. Um, we're not broken up, but we're having a reoccurring issue that I'm tired of talking about. We don't argue. Lucius and I don't argue. We don't raise our voices to each other. You know, we don't speak over one another when the other one is speaking. We don't do none of that. The real issue, I, so it's about communication, but it's not that we don't communicate. We communicate differently. However, I have expectations of him that he doesn't know about because they're not spoken expectations. So it puts me in a position sometimes to kind of wonder, okay, why didn't you reply to this? Or what, so he has this way about him that he doesn't always reply to things. He might see it, but not respond to it. So he's telling me that he's going to work on responding to things. Okay. So say for instance, and I'm going to just be real transparent because why not, right? So an example is we'll DM each other throughout the day, things we see on Instagram and stuff, and like, little memes and, quotes and stuff like that. And we'll send each other back and forth and stuff. I always reply for the most part to what he sends me. But when I send him stuff, he'll like it, but not really like reply to it, right? Okay, fine. Or I'll ask, like yesterday I asked him, two mornings ago I sent him something, I asked him a question, he saw it, didn't respond to it. So I told him it makes me feel like there's no importance in the stuff that I send you, or there's no, whatever, she's just sending me stuff, because we're also in a group chat on Instagram with some of our friends, and he responds to stuff in there, whatever, whenever he decides to respond, he responds to stuff in there. We're also in a group chat and video chat, and he responds to stuff in there, so what is it why don't you respond to me? Or texting. So if we're not able to talk throughout the day because of work stuff, I'll text him a paragraph because I'm good for those, and he will not respond. And it bothers me. And his thing is, Jasmine, I don't like responding to important issues via text message. That's not how I communicate. I don't feel like we can effectively communicate via text message. And I get it. I'm not asking him to pour out and then none of that. I'm just saying either acknowledge the message or respond to, I got the text, we'll talk about it later. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, and I keep asking him, do I ask you for too much? Like, he's like, no, it's not. But it seems like it is because we're having this conversation again. So I'm actually going to read to you guys the message he sent me last night. After, maybe I'll just read the entire conversation. And I'm being extremely open and honest because I feel like everything is not peaches and cream. Everything is not on 100 all the time. We have our issues as well in the midst of planning a wedding. So I sent him something that said, appreciate her. A good woman is someone you never want to lose. She will take you from average to greatness. She's the peace and the calm. She's your motivator, confidant, and support system. If you have her heart, cherish it, because if you let her go, you may never find another one like her. I said, so what do you have? Just a question. He didn't respond. I sent that October 31st at 9:34 in the morning. And then he didn't respond. So on Instagram you can see seen. So I put ... last night at 11:27. He responds 11:28, a good woman. So I said, this is a perfect example of an issue I brought to your attention. I sent this to you yesterday night. You saw the post. I asked you a question and no reply to the post or my question. But you replied in the other group chat on Glide and have been in your phone since yesterday evening. It's been more than 24 hours now, and I have to send you ... for you to reply. How do you think that makes me feel, Lucius? And so I told him before, I'm just going to stop sending you stuff. Or I'm just going to wait for you to call me because I know you're busy and just like, whatever. I'll just wait. So I'm going to fall back. So I said, I say this time and time again because I feel like I sometimes put myself out there and expect of you as I should, and it makes me feel some type of way. You tell me one thing, but your actions say otherwise. Because he tells me he's going to work on it. I'm going to work on responding and blah, 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 right? He says, time and time again, I tell you verbally, if you want to talk about something with me, talk to me, not text. That's not my communication level or area, and I keep saying that over and over again, Jasmine. I reply quickly to something. You want to discuss something, but you continue to try to do it through text. And when I say that's not my area, I do not communicate well with important things via text, and that will not change. I see more value in verbal communication, and I will not change that. I've asked you to talk, but you do the opposite and then say you don't have an issue with talking, but you won't talk to me. So it's not that I won't talk to him. It's times where I see something, like I told him last night. I see something, let me send it to you and we'll talk about it later. Just acknowledge that you got it, or we can talk about it. I don't even get that from you. You don't even acknowledge the fact that, yeah, I sent you something. The same thing with, we're working on a Bible plan, and I told him, here's what I want us to do. I want us to discuss it together. So I'll send you screenshots of the devotional, and you can just tell me, we'll talk about it later or whatever. I sent it to him yesterday morning, no response. And he's like, I don't like texting, my fingers are too big for the phone, and on and so forth, I'd rather just talk about it. But we can't always get on the phone at that time. I'm extremely busy, he's extremely busy, and we're an hour away. We can't always get on the phone at that time, at that moment, and talk about things. I have class after work, I have internship, I have ministry stuff, I have church, I have 2 jobs. We can't always get on the phone right then and there when I want to talk about something, or when he wants to talk about something and talk. So I'll send it in a message, but he doesn't even acknowledge the fact that he got the message. And then when he does get it, he doesn't say, we'll talk about it later. So sometimes it never gets talked about. So it's like days go by and I'm like, did you get the email? Did you get the message? And I told him last night, I don't want to hear excuses as to why you didn't respond right then and there, or why something came up. And it just makes me feel like I'm not important. And that bothers me. He's like, baby, it's not that you're not important. You're very important, and I love you, and I get it. And I'm not questioning his love for me. I need his attention. That's my area of love language in certain things. Sometimes I feel like I'm competing with his attention with work, and I don't want to. I don't want to. And so, yes, we've agreed to premarital counseling, and we're going to get that, and it's not a question, and we're not going to go into our marriage without premarital counseling. So, he's talked about doing premarital counseling way early in our relationship. But now, as the time is getting closer, I feel like it's something that needs to just be implemented, in January or whatever. And, I'm going down in 3 weeks. I get there November 21st. 20 days? 19 days? And so I'm going to be there a whole week. This is going to be also our opportunity to see each other face to face and talk about things and just be with one another. I miss him. I know he misses me, but and I told him before, I feel like the distance sometimes it just adds to some of the frustration, because we can't sit in front of each other and have a conversation. I've never been in a long distance relationship before. It's a learning experience, and it's a lot. So I told him that I wanted time today to just think. He prayed last night before we got off the phone, and he understood. And this morning I woke up and I had a message from him on Glide. I didn't respond to it. I'm not breaking up with him, and I'm not breaking up our engagement, and I'm not doing any of that. But I don't want to be that type of person that thinks, well, because I got this ring, I'm gonna wear it. We're gonna get married. No, there are issues that need to be discussed and need to be worked out before we get married. And so I took the ring off to show me and to remind me that I also have to do work myself. There's going to be some things that I know I need to work on within our communication, within our relationship. And I've been single before. So to remind myself, if you want this ring, you need to know what comes along with this ring and everything in general. This ring means a promise to marriage. The wedding could be beautiful. I want a beautiful marriage. And he doesn't even know I took my ring off. But I'll tell him, and we'll talk about it, you know. But I just wanted to be real and show that we have our issues, and not every relationship is perfect. We're gonna get through it, you know. We pray together. It is not something that's just gonna, oh my gosh, this is the end of it, you know. It's not. That's not gonna happen. So I don't know. Let me see. Oh, here's my phone. Let's see what time it is. Okay, I need to go back upstairs.